Hi guys, and welcome to the first video on the channel. Today we'll be reviewing together the $55 PKO deep run I had the other day on Poker King. Lots of action to be had, lots of bounties to be won, so brace yourself and enjoy. This is the first bounty opportunity we have. So one of the guys is extremely short. He has basically no chips left. We see an open here, which can literally be any two cards, so I just decided to shove with my ace-8. I think it's good enough in this spot, so we can isolate that bounty. Hopefully we don't get called by the initial raiser. So let's wait and see. I don't like the button he's thinking about it, but hopefully he's not gonna call. He's in the tank. The other guy called with Jack-9. That's not a good call. Let's just hold. No Jack, no 9. No Jack, no 9. Awesome. So we don't win the bounty, unfortunately, with the free of the river, but yeah, that's not a big problem. Next hand we are dealt King 10 offsuit in middle position, and as you can see, there's two guys that are really short, so we'll be looking to isolate this to get their bounties as well. So we do have a big stack behind, two big stacks behind us, but hopefully they don't wake up with a big hand. It's nice to have the king in our hand to block hands like ace king. We do see fold, which is awesome. We just need to spike a king or a 10 to get at least one bounty. There's a 10, let's go. So we will be getting Jaever's bounty, that's great. Kings, that's a good hand. So we see a big open after a limp in UTG1, so we are just going to isolate this. Quick call, and we are against, let's see, 10 Jack. That's not very good. So we win another bounty there. We re-isolate the sixes here against ace king. We need a big hold here for a huge stack. Fortunately, we are not going to be able to do it. Ace on the turn, so we're not going to win that one. Here, I think it's important to notice that this guy is extremely aggressive. He's always opening into the small stacks. You can see here the guy in the big blind is actually the shortest stack at the table. So I do decide to free bet him. I think it's a good play. The guy in the big blind is in the tank, which is not great. So we do see a call. Really bad board for us. However, really good for our range. So we will start with a c-bet here. The guy in the big blind also called. So that's not great news. He calls again. We turn a straight draw. I just don't think we can get away from the hand even if he puts in 11 blinds. So I prefer to put them in myself. It's a very weird spot. He decides to make the call. We need a 9. That's it. Great news. We see a shove here from UTG1. I limped with the freeze. To be completely honest, I have misclicked. I wouldn't have played this particular hand. We do see a shove though from Las Verditas, so obviously we are going to call here for 8 blinds. We are in a really good spot. We need a spade or a free. Spade. We're not going to get it this time. Here we have king, queen, offsuit, the next hand in the big blind. If it comes back to me, I'm just going to reshove. I think if he has something like an ace 5 or an ace 10, he will need to fold. And I'm not worried about Ruby Dog flatting there. His range should be really weak. We do pick this one up, which is nice. We get 9s here. We open. We see a call in the small blind from a guy that was playing pretty much every single hand. Probably 7-7 Jack. Pretty good for our hand, so definitely starting with a c-bet here. I want to go a little bit larger, close to 50% of the pot, protect my hand against a guy who is floating very frequently. He is in the tank here. I mean, he could have anything, to be honest. That's not a great card. It's not a bad card either. If you think about it, we are blocking 8-9, we are blocking 7-8, we are blocking 7-9, hence that he might be calling from the small blinds. So the fact that we have nines here is actually really good. So I think I can't remember what I did here, to be honest. I decided to check back. That's a really bad card on the river. I think a lot of the range he will have here is going to be aces or even king, queen that turned a double open-ended trader on the turn. So we decided to fold there. Here we open ace-10 in the UTG. The big blind only has about 10 big blinds left. Really good flop for us. We have an open-ended straight draw and obviously the ace uh, as an overcard. So we would be willing to put all the chips in at this point if it comes to it. The big blind is in the tank. He donk bets, which is a bit strange. So just gonna put it in here and see where we are at. Has Jack Queen, awesome spot for us. We just need to dodge the Queen or a 10, and we do. That's great. $12.50 in our pocket. Here we pick up the ladies in middle position. We see an open from UTG into a very short big blind, so I don't expect his range to be necessarily the strongest one here. So I'm going to call, hoping to involve the big blind in the hand. Hopefully he shoves, that would be ideal, and then we maybe see a reshove. He doesn't call, so we see a really good flop for our hand. We don't have a spade, so I want us to bet a little bit on the larger side on this particular hand. So we decide to bet a third. I would have preferred to see a larger bet. We see a free, which is, I mean, it's not great, but I think it's a lot better than seeing a spade at this point. So he still has a lot of jack X in his range. He still has spades, so now we are gonna go for a big boys bet. About 80% of the pot. We do see a call, and we do see a spade, which completes a straight as well. So I'm just gonna check it back. We do beat a7, which is great news. So he had a flush draw on the turn. We pick up tens in UTG, and we are going to open this hand, obviously. Lots of short stacks at the table, like 20 big blinds, 12 big blinds. So we see a flat in middle position, so that's interesting for sure. We see a really bad board, ace, king, 5. However, we are going to start with a c-bet. I'm mostly worried about the guy in the middle position rather than the big blind. So we do have backdoor hearts, which is a good thing for us. If another heart comes in, obviously it can be a scare card for the opponents. So I'm starting with just under 30% here to see where we're at in the hand. We see quite a long tank from the middle position. Caller, he decides to call the c-bet, which is obviously concerning. I do think though our range is really strong, so we should have, you know, ace king, ace queen in our hand. So we see a king on the turn. I do decide to barrel here. There are lots of, you know, gut shots he could have. I don't think he's necessarily calling king queen or king jack from that position versus my opening from UTG. So I decided to bet half pot, trying to get him even off an ace. Like if he has something like, you know, ace 10, is he really calling this bet here? Obviously if he has kings we are screwed, but I think if he has ace 10 or ace jack, he's in a tough spot. We do spike the miracle 10 on the river, which is really, really great news. Really hoping he will call his ace 10 or ace jack now. Or maybe that he has, you know, a king. He doesn't have ace king for sure. He goes in the tank here for quite a long time. So he does have, I expect him to have something like an ace, maybe even something like eights or nines, but I think he would fold that a little bit sooner. He does decide to call his ace jack. Let's go. $22 in the pocket. Great stuff. We pick up ace king in the big blind here. We see an open almost 3x from a very aggressive opponent. He was targeting us so much in this tournament, looking to get into pots with us all the time. So I do decide to free bet him. I think I made it something like 10. The small blind actually flatted as well, so that's very interesting. To see, I would have liked to make this bet a little bit larger, something like 12 blinds. So the initial raiser called, the small blind folded. We see an awesome flop for us, a7-5. Just looking to start with a small c bet here, about 25%. Hoping he has an ace as well. He calls, really, really good. Now we have about a pot size bet left. We could make it something like, 10 big blinds, but I think if he has an ace, he's not folding. If he has like ace 10 or ace jack, he pretty much needs to call at this point with how much money he invested in the pot and knowing the previous battles we had. So yeah, I don't see myself doing much else rather than shoving here. He does decide to fold. Really good pickup for us there. We are opening Jack 8 suited in the button here and facing a free bet from the guy we've been battling with a lot. We're going to call and spike a Jack on the flop, calling the C bet here. Queen is very interesting. We want to be putting on a lot of pressure here. The guy calls the free bet, but if he has something like aces, he's going to hate his life. So we follow through and the bluff works, which is great, great news. Here we are opening the kings and we get a flat from the small blind. Ace high flop, really hate it. We are going to start with a c bet though. Obviously we can definitely pretend we have ace king here. So if the guy decides to call, we are actually trying to get him off his hand. So we see a 9 on the turn. I do expect him to have an ace quite often here, but if you think about it, if it's something like an ace 7 or ace 10, even ace jack, I think he will find it very tough to call free barrels. We spike the king on the river, which is absolutely the gin card for us. We're going to tank for a little bit and actually praying now that he's calling something like ace 10. So we do decide to shove and he's in the tank. He's been in the tank for quite a few seconds, thinking things through. I like that we have the king of diamonds here. He could think that we were semi-bluffing on the turn with like a diamond draw. So he's thinking about it quite a lot here. Really hoping he calls. He does call with the ace jack. Let's go. So $35 in the pocket for us here. Great stuff. Ace king suited in the big blind. We were picking quite a lot of nice hands here, and we see an open from the same guy that has been playing so many pots with us in this tournament. So we are free betting him to 10 blinds again, kind of wanting him to call in this hand. So I actually went a little bit smaller, I think. So 9.5. He calls very quickly. He really doesn't like us at this point. We flop really, really well. So I will be betting about a third here because of the spade draw. Hopefully he has an ace as well. He does not, so he just lets that one go. We have a really good stack here, so we are going to start putting a lot more pressure on the opponent. We're flatting ace-7 suited here in the button after a hijack open. We see an interesting flop, 3-6-10 we have backdoor flush draw, we have an ace, we have the 7, which is a good card as well. So we are going to call the c bet. Good card on the turn, so we pick up a gut shot. So if he checks, we are going to be putting a lot of pressure on. I don't think he will like that card too much. Much better for my range, so I am going to bet a large size here, betting pot and shoving the river if it comes to it. Uh, Really good to have the 7 here, and again, if you have aces here, you hate your life. So he tanks for a little bit and decides to let it go. We pick up ace 9 the next hand. So we see an open from the UTG, but obviously he is opening in a very small stack, so I'm not a big believer that he has a great hand. Also, he was playing quite a lot of hands in quite of a scared manner, if I can say that. So I decided to free bet him, putting a lot of pressure on the opponents. The guy in the big blind calls, and unfortunately what this means is the guy in the big blind actually will be able to call and we can't reshove on top of him. We see a queen, queen free board, nothing spectacular. We are going to start with a check. We see a 9 on the turn. Great news, we are beating a lot of hands now. He bets really small, tempting to re-raise, but I think it can get us in a very messy situation. 9 on the river, that's great. He checks. I'm going to check. I don't see any point in betting really. Here he's not going to call with worse, so the guy in the small blind actually picks up that hand with ace queen. We win a small side pot there. Here we pick up 8s in UTG1. We're going to start with an open. There is a fairly short small stack in the big blind, so hopefully he gets involved. He decides to shove. I'm going to rejam here. Really good spot for us. Hopefully he has 7s, that would be sweet. He does not have ace queen. 4, 5, 6, really great flop. 8 on the turn, let's go, great stuff. 7 on the river, we are going to chop. Life is disgusting. Opening 5, 6 offsuit here. We get a call in the big blind. Really good flop for our range. Ace, king, 10. Starting with a c-bet, he calls. I decide to give up here. He goes check, check, but he just bets really, really small on the river. I re-raised him and pick up the pot. Thank you so much for watching. This is the end of part 1. Part 2 is coming up later this weekend. I wanted to let you know that I'm running a giveaway to reward everyone that's going to watch my videos and hopefully enjoy them. I'm looking to offer an ICMizer license worth around $200. I know there's a lot of you out there that would like to have access to the license but don't have the money to have it. It's something that definitely helps your poker game so much, and I just want to make someone's day. So if you want to be part of the competition, you just need to subscribe to the channel, nothing else, and I'll be running the draw as soon as we reach 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for watching again, and see you later.